Yo, what's up, guys? We're back. We're going to be doing one more breakdown, actually, before the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys thought you guys were probably done with me, man, but you're going to have to deal with me one more time. We're going to do one more video. Hopefully we can make some money. And it's a fun card. It's Rizin 26. If you remember last year when they had the Rizin New Year show, it was actually voted like the best show of the year from a lot of websites, things like that. It was a really great event. So it's always, some crazy shit going on over there. I mean, if you look at the first fight, the fight that I got right now, I mean, Inoue, man, I mean, you guys know about him. I mean, he's a guy that's, fights these huge guys all the time, and he's going to be fighting a fucking sumo wrestler. So it's starting off crazy right away. But yeah, man, I just want to do this quick breakdown video. I'm pretty sure they're going to have odds. They have some pretty good fights on this card. So it's, a fun card overall, a lot of craziness, and just a typical Japan card. But man, I want to see who the real ones are, man. I want to see everyone that's watching this video, put a comment down below. I want to see, because this is for the hardcores, I feel like. Not that many people are going to be watching Rizin and can even know the events going on, but there's a lot of good fights. There's probably going to be betting lines, so I wanted to put this video out for people that wanted to watch it and, get into some of these fights. So thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, just make sure to put a comment down below. Drop a like if you haven't dropped a like yet, and yeah, I mean, we're gonna get into it here with this first fight at night. Ikuhishi Inoue taking on Tsuyoshi Sudario, and man, I mean, interesting fight, man. I mean, Minowaa's gonna be looking to do it again. I mean, the giant killer. He's 44 years old, and if you watched a lot of his fights, I mean, he's fought guys like Bob Sapp, Butterbean, Giant Silva. I mean, he's fought Mirko Krokop, Gilbert Ivel. So I mean, he's out there fighting some big ass dudes, man. He's gonna be fighting Tsuyoshi Sudario, who he's kind of an interesting guy too, because I mean, he's only fought one time. He looked pretty good. It was in Rizin. He's a former professional sumo wrestling champion, and he was actually forced to retire due to issues with him assaulting attendants in sumo wrestling in 2019, or something happened where he slapped someone up that he shouldn't have, and got kicked out of sumo wrestling. So he decided to transition into MMA here, and only 23 years old. I'm sure he kind of wanted to continue using his physicality and see if he can give it a go here. But big difference. I mean, a lot of sumo wrestlers don't really have a lot of success in MMA, but one thing I do like about Tsuyoshi Sudario is he didn't stay at that weight, like 400, 350 pounds, 500 pounds, that a typical sumo wrestler is at. He actually cut down to the heavyweight limit. So he's actually like a 264, 265 pound guy that still is used to big guys banging on him. So he has that kind of physicality still, and he's moves pretty well. He's an athletic guy for being that big, and he debuted in Rizin. He broke Dylan James's nose, which caused the fight to end after the first round. And Dylan James, I mean, he was 0-0 in MMA as a professional wrestler. So I mean, Sudario is definitely getting a step up here. He's fighting a seasoned fighter, and an over the hill Minowa man who has over 100 fights though, which is really crazy. But man, I mean, looking at the fight, I watched a couple of Minowa's recent fights and just didn't really like what I saw, man. Really slow, wasn't really moving very well. Didn't have the wrestling that he used to have, or just kind of that, speed and explosiveness where he was able to, Imanari roll into leg locks. He was able to kind of wear these guys out with the movement, then hit takedowns. I don't know if at 44, almost 45 years old, he still kind of has that in him anymore. He does seem like he's a little bit slower, gained a little bit of weight, doesn't really seem as good as he used to be. And his last fight, I mean, he fought a guy that was like 30-24, wasn't really a great record, was an older guy like himself, and they both looked super slow. It went to decision, and I just didn't think that he looked very good. He lost the fight. That was a year and a half ago, so he's taken a long time off. He's coming back here, and I'm sure he's going to feel, back at home fighting in Saitama. He's going to be fighting a guy that's really big. It's a thing that he's used to doing. He's done it, a ton of times throughout his career. He's been successful doing it. But I'm actually going to go with Sudario on this one. I know he's only 1-0. It's a huge experience gap here, but I feel like Sudario, like I said, he cut the weight to 265, and I like the way that he was moving and the way that he was, like his striking didn't look good or anything like that, or is like he didn't look like he was a seasoned fighter, but he looked athletic and big, and against a really old guy like Inoue, I just don't see Inoue being able to implement his game, which is take him down. And I think that Sudario actually may be the faster, more athletic guy, even being that big. He's only 23. He looked fairly quick, fast, agile in his debut, and I just think that he's going to be a little bit too much for Inoue. Probably get that first round knockout there. But I mean, man, we've seen Inoue defy the odds, win these fights over and over and over again. So it's hard to kind of pick against him, especially against a 1-0 guy. But I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to pick Sudario. I just feel like Inoue is getting a little bit up there in age. He's fighting a guy that's a little bit of a better version of these big freak show fights he's fighting. Like, this guy isn't like a giant Silva that can't move. So I'm actually going to go with Sudario here, first round knockout. This next fight here, we got the first of the Asakuras on the card. We got Kan Asakura taking on Ai Shimizu. And Kan Asakura is 17-4. She's a very entertaining fighter like her brothers, and very experienced at only 23 years old. She's fought, defeated some solid competition. She actually has a win over current Invicta champion Alicia Zapatello, a win over Rena Kubota, and her opponent is an undefeated fighter, most recently coming off a win in Bellator. But this is most definitely the biggest test of Ai Shimizu's career. Shimizu, she's been fighting a lot of low-level opponents. You could almost call her a freak show fighter, and she's kind of purely a grappler. She's gotten a little bit better with her striking, and she definitely has power, but essentially only throws big hooks to get inside, get the clinch, work the takedowns. And once she can get her body lock, she's very strong. She usually is able to hit the takedown, and she's good at, if girls get up, she'll reshoot quickly. If you deny the takedown, she'll come back up with punches, come back into the takedown, and really keep a high pace. On top, she can overwhelm lower level girls with ground and pound, but doesn't really look to have the best jiu-jitsu, and didn't really open up much against Andy Wynn in their fight on Bellator when she was on top. She just kind of laid inside of Wynn's guard and didn't do much. But Shimizu's technically undefeated, but she did get armbarred in an exhibition match. So, like I said, I do feel like her jiu-jitsu isn't really at that level. She has finished 3 of her 5 wins. For Kan Asakura, she's going to have the technical advantage on the feet. She has better distance control, better movement. She's worked on her fluidity and her straightness of her punches. And in her fight with Alicia Zapatello, she really pieced her up standing. She'll throw some decent hand combos, good low kicks. And she doesn't throw with huge power. She throws a lot of naked kicks. And I do feel like she's in a power disadvantage here. But she's going to be at such a skill advantage that I feel like she's going to bewilder Shimizu with her movement or with her ability to control distance and just touch her up. And she's a good grappler as well, man. She's a really good single. On top, she has kind of a wet blanket style, but she's an excellent scrambler. Very hard to hold down, very hard to take down. Alicia Zapatello had no success taking her down, and she's a very high-level wrestler, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and a super good grappler. So I just don't know if Ai Shimizu is going to be able to take her down and have much success holding her down. Asakura has the cardio to go hard for 3 to 5 rounds. She has a huge advantage in experience and just in the striking. In this fight, I probably think she can make the grappling competitive, if not win that as well. She should take this fight pretty easily. Whether she finishes her or not, I'm not sure. But I'm actually going to go with Kan Asakura via second round knockout. They don't have any odds on this fight, but man, I feel like Asakura should be a pretty sizable favorite, maybe -400 or 500. I feel like if she's under -400 or even under -500, she probably has some value. Throwing her a couple parlays, and feel like she's pretty safe to get the victory here against Ai Shimizu. I just think she's the better overall fighter. So give me Kan Asakura on that one. And in this next one, we got a former UFC fighter here in Ulka Sasaki taking on Kenta Takizawa. And Ulka Sasaki's had some mixed results since leaving the UFC. He's gotten only 1-2 overall, but fought really high-level guys. I mean, he fought Manel Cape and he defeated him, who's a very good fighter. Then he fought, Kai Asakura, and he did get his jaw broken in that fight. And due to that, he hasn't fought in over a year. But Rizin has given him a more winnable opponent here. He's fighting an 11-6 fighter. Takizawa's 1-1 in Rizin. He's coming off a loss in his last fight to Horiguchi Okibu. And, Takizawa, he's not been fighting bad fighters, but his competition level is not even close to Ulka Sasaki's. And Kenta Takizawa, he's a striker. He fights with an odd rhythm. He uses a lot of movement, throws weird strikes, weird combinations, good kicks. He has good front kicks. He throws a lot of spins. He can be a dynamic guy, flying knees. His hands aren't that great, but he throws some sneaky one-shot attacks, short hooks, good jabs, lead uppercuts. He has a really nice uppercut to lead hook combination that he throws, rear uppercut, lead hook. He's tall for the division. He has good length. He's aggressive. But he can be a bit flat-footed, and he throws a lot of silly kicks that just aren't effective. Weird side kicks, flicking kicks that don't have power. But he has good forward pressure. He gives different looks. He switches stances. He feints a lot. He's dangerous, and he's improving his takedown defense. It's gotten much better than it used to be, but still can be taken down easily and controlled against better grapplers. Off his back, he's not very good either. So with this matchup with Ulka Sasaki, I think that's going to rear its head here. And Ulka Sasaki, if you watch the UFC, you've probably seen him, and he's a long striker as well, and he's improved his striking since going to train with Sarah Longo. He throws a lot longer, straighter crosses, decent kicks. He'll mix in some front knees, and he's accurate. I think he's more technical overall as a striker. His striking, I'm not sure, is as good, though, as Takizawa, even though I'm saying he's more technical, because Takizawa is just very aggressive, dynamic, and, you know, he could catch Ulka. Ulka is coming off getting his jaw broken, so if there's any remnants of that in his physical performance or in his brain, he could get caught and get hurt. But overall, though, I mean, Ulka has fought and defeated some way better fighters. His ground game is way better. He doesn't have the best wrestling, but I think it's good enough to get Takizawa to the mat. And from there, I just don't see Takizawa having much for him. I think, you know, if he can get him down, he definitely will be able to control, probably take the back and get the submission. And I think eventually that's what's going to happen. So I'm actually going to say Ulka Sasaki gets him out of there via second round submission. It could be in the first round as well, but I just feel like he's a level above here of Kenta Takizawa. He's, even on the feet, I feel like he can compete. So I feel like Ulka Sasaki is going to be able to eventually get the takedown, take the back, and hit that Mausoleon. So give me Ulka Sasaki to get the win. In this next fight, I mean, man, I don't really have a lot of information for this one. It's a weird matchup. We have an MMA legend in Hideo Tokoro. He's going to be welcoming one of the best wrestlers in the history of Japan MMA. I mean, Hideo Tokoro's fought 66 pro fights. He's fought some elite level guys as well. He has some big wins. And this is going to be Shinobu Ulta's first fight in MMA, but like I said, though, Ulta is one of the best wrestlers, not only out of Japanese fighters, but if any fighters compete in MMA today, once he steps in that ring. I mean, he's an Olympic silver medalist from 2016. He won the gold medal in the 2019 World Championships, and he's a Greco-Roman wrestler, which has historically not been as good as freestyle wrestling for MMA. But I mean, man, if you're an Olympic silver medalist, if you're a gold medalist at the World Championships, you're a bad motherfucker regardless of anything. And I mean, this guy has a nasty front headlock. He's really, really good grappler. I mean, he hits his takedowns in the clinch are going to be next level in comparison to anybody that he's fighting in MMA. And I'm not really sure, though. I don't know how much striking he's done. I don't know how much grappling on the mat he's done in terms of jiu-jitsu. So against a guy like Hideo Tokoro, man, I mean, this guy has over 60 fights. He's one of the better, jiu-jitsu grapplers for Japanese fighters for a long time. I mean, this guy's been putting it down forever. I mean, this is a guy that had a draw with Royce Gracie, man. He beat Royler Gracie. He's submitted Brad Pickett. I mean, this guy is, a lot of that was a long time ago, but being 43 years old is another thing that kind of makes me nervous as well. And O2, I mean, being an Olympian, I mean, he has to be a really high-level athlete, but I'm struggling with this fight. I mean, what do you guys think? I want you in the comment. You guys think Ota's going to win or Hideo Tokoro? Because I'm going to go with Tokoro, man. I'm going to say he gets third-round submission. I'm just going to lean with the experience. I'm not sure about what Ota is on the ground. He could be a white belt, and if that's the facts of the matter, then he better have some striking, man, because if he takes down Tokoro, he doesn't have any jiu-jitsu. He's going to get submitted. So I'm just going to go with Hideo Tokoro. But to be honest with you, this is one of the fights that no clue. I mean, I don't know how you would line this fight. I don't know much of anything. I mean, if you favor Ota, tell me why. Or if you have some inside information in terms of if he's been training, grappling, training, striking for a while now, that'd be really beneficial to me. So let me know that. And but for now, I'm going to pick a Tokoro third round submission Just go with the experience and just go with his ability on the ground to potentially catch the wrestler. So I'm going to go with Hideo Tokoro here. And up next here we got Kyle Aguon taking on Kleber Erbst. And for Kleber Erbst, I mean, he's going to be making his Rizin debut. He's already made a name for himself, though, in KSW. He's one of the better featherweights in KSW history. He's defeated the current featherweight champion in KSW, and he hasn't fought in quite a while. The last time that Erbst fought was over a year ago. In that fight, he did go back to Japan, where he was born, and defeated Akio Nishihara by a first-round submission. He's going to be facing a 13-9 opponent who's coming out of Guam in Kyle Aguon. And Aguon, he's a veteran of the Japanese MMA scene, though he's already competed in Rizin this year. He's fought many times in Pancrase, and he's used to coming out here to Asia and fighting. He has lost his last 2 fights. He's 0-1 in Rizin. His record is a bit deceiving, though. He's fought and defeated some pretty high-level guys. He holds wins over fighters like Trevin Jones, Russell Doan, Rolando D, all guys that made it to the UFC, all guys that got victories in the UFC. And Kyle Aguon, he really isn't the greatest fighter, but he's just extremely tough. Aguon is a decent athlete. He likes to box. Aguon will double jab his way into straights. He has good timing. He'll slip and return. He throws nice straight punches that do snap opponents' heads back, and he'll throw some decent kicks, but isn't a great kicker in my opinion. Doesn't really have a lot of power either. He just kind of tries to push the pace, stay in your face, wear you down, get you tired, and he has a good chin, but he's a hittable guy, and he can get rocked. He doesn't really do well against forward pressure, and he's a bit rigid. If you throw combos, usually you're going to be able to get through and touch him up. But he does a good job surviving when he's hurt. He's never been finished. His wrestling, I would say, is his weak point. He doesn't really have a great takedown defense, but he's hard to hold down. He's scrappy. If fighters aren't ready to push hard and work for the win, they will struggle against a guy like Kyle Aguon. Aguon, when he does get put on his back, he will throw up submissions from his guard. Good job controlling posture, staying safe. And he will sometimes try to shoot in, mix it up, but he's not a very good offensive wrestler. It's just all about that he's going to be there for the whole fight. He's going to be staying in your face, throwing a lot of volume with the striking. His striking is overall decently technical with the boxing, and if you take him down, he doesn't stay stagnant. He works to get back up to his feet, and he's going to test your cardio. And with Kyle Aguon liking to go to decision, he's really a guy that goes to a lot of decisions. His opponent, Kleber Erbst, likes to get his work done without the help of the judges. He has 23 finishes out of his 25 wins, and he's a submission specialist. Erbst has 21 submission victories in 6 true decisions. He only has a record of 2-3 and 1 draw, so not really good when it goes to the scorecards. His striking is awkward. I mean, he throws a lot of kicks, looping offbeat punches, but he just uses his striking to create level changes, and he will fake the level change, come back into combinations, but if you can back him up, he's stiff, not really dangerous on the feet, and that's what Aguon is going to try to do, pressure him, try to stay in his face. But Erbst has good blitzes. He likes to blitz fighters with wild striking attempts and then make them make a mistake, create a grappling scramble. But he's hittable. I mean, he is a guy that if you fight a high-level striker, he's going to struggle. A guy that has good takedown defense, he's going to struggle. And Erbst doesn't really have the greatest wrestling either. He can struggle to get it to the ground, but he's always looking to time a level change. He'll even pull guard. And when he gets the fights to the ground, he puts fighters through the gauntlet until he lands a submission. He's throwing up submissions off his back. From top position, he throws up a plethora of submissions. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can take down Aguon and be the first fighter to submit him. I feel like he's going to be the guy who can get his game going more with the wrestling. And his striking, if he's aggressive and blitzes, he should be successful against Aguon. Erbst has a chin. He's never been finished by strikes, and I think he won't have to worry much about the power of Aguon, who has no knockouts in his career. So I'm actually going to go with Erbst via decision. I'm going to say that Kyle Aguon is going to be able to show his typical toughness and stay in the fight, but it just really depends how good Aguon submission defense really is, because I do feel like this is one of the best grapplers that he's ever fought. This is one of the most aggressive grapplers that he's ever fought, and I wouldn't be shocked if Erbst was able to get him out of there in any of these rounds with the submission. But I just feel like he's overall has a better game. He knows what he wants to do, and he's more effective when he can get into those positions. So I think that Erbst is going to be able to eventually do his thing and get it done. So got to go with him, and I just feel like he's the more high-level fighter here. This is one of these fights, though, where with the the records, I could see the line being pretty wide. I feel like it should be, no more than minus 300 for Erbst. I think even that would be a little bit steep. I think maybe it should be kind of in the minus 250 range. So if he's like minus 600, something like that, I mean, no value is going to be on Erbst. But I'm going to come back. I'm going to do a video, or I'm just probably going to put it in descriptions, talk about the odds, and eventually give you guys a parlay, everything like that. But right now I'm going to go with Erbst, but not sure what type of line we're going to get, to be honest with you. In this next fight, we have bantamweight bout between Yuki Motoya taking on Naoki Inoue. Yuki Motoya, he's the veteran in this matchup. He's 31 years old. He's 26-8 overall as a pro. His opponent, Naoki Inoue, he's 23. He's only 14-2 as a pro. He's still experienced, but if the name is familiar to you in Inoue, it's because you probably remember him from his 2-fight stint in the UFC. Inoue went 1-1 in the UFC. He lost a match Schnell by split decision, got released. Since then, he's gone 3-1, 2-0 in Rizin, and Inoue has actually never lost in Japan. He's 13-0 there. His opponent, Yuki Motoya, has fought some high-level competition as well. He's actually definitely fought the better fighters out of the two guys. Since 2013, Motoya, he's 18-4. His 4 losses have come against very good fighters. And looking at Yuki Motoya's game, he has good composure, good forward pressure. He throws heavy low kicks, kind of has a hands-down open stance, but he has good distance control. He closes the gap quickly. He has a really powerful straight down the middle. He'll land the cross, then come behind with a lead hook. He throws some nice kicks, good combinations. He's a slick striker. He keeps good pressure on opponents. He isn't a guy that really likes to take the fight to the ground much. He uses his striking to, get fighters to shoot in on him, and then he catches them in submissions if it's bad takedowns. His takedown defense, though, really isn't very good. He tends to attack guillotines rather than defend the takedowns. He does have a solid guard. He will attack subs. He got a pretty nasty leg scissors choke against Justin Scoggins. And he did get grinded out, though, in his fight with Hirimoso Okibu. And when Okibu was able to pass his guard, Motoya, didn't really do a lot. He gave his back, and Motoya is good at staying calm, eventually working back up to his feet, but can be held down, controlled enough to drop rounds. He is never static on the ground, though. He's always giving you something to think about. He's either throwing up submissions, looking to sweep, create a scramble, good half-guard sweeps. And when he can get on top, his wrestling and his top game is not bad. He can control. He looks for submissions. He's not a bad top game player. As far as his striking goes, he's pretty legit, though. I feel like he's a better striker here, but Naoki Inoue is a good striker himself. He's aggressive, he's fast, he's long, he throws nice tight combinations. I don't think Inoue is quite as good a striker as Motoya is, though, and Inoue is going to need to change it up and try to grapple in this fight. He has a good single leg, decent wrestling. He's probably going to try to go to that in this fight, and Inoue is dangerous if he can get on top, especially if he can take the back. He has good arm bars from mount as well, really good rear naked chokes, and all 9 of Inoue's finishes are submissions, and they're mostly rear naked chokes and arm bars. He did quickly get a rear naked choke in his last win, and defensively, though, he can be taken down himself, and I feel like his cardio is a little bit on the bad side. And reason why I favor Motoya, though, is like I said, because I think he has much better cardio and he's the better striker. In a way, he has better grappling of the two, but not great wrestling. I don't think he's going to be able to get it down. And both these guys are really traditionally strikers. I just think more than likely Motoya can deny the takedowns, outstrike Inoue. Even if Inoue can make it competitive the first couple rounds, I think Motoya will turn it up and win the third convincingly. And with the Pride scoring rules of finishing strong, winning the fight, that could be huge. So my pick's going to be Yuki Motoya by decision. I do think this is one of the closer fights on the card, but I am pretty confident in Motoya to get the win. And if he's, if he's an underdog or if it's a close favorite, anything, I mean, minus 130 to minus 150-ish, I would say. I think he is a decent bet as value there. And I just think he's a little bit better on the feet. He has the better cardio, could push the pace. And as long as he doesn't get grinded out, doesn't give his back get submitted, then he should get the win. So I'm going to go with Yuki Motoya to get a decision here. And up next year, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. I mean, man, they're throwing Takanori Gomi to the wolves, man. I don't really like this matchup. I mean, we got 42-year-old Gomi who, Gomi's the man. He's an MMA legend. He's fought the best of the best. He's dominated Pride. He went to the UFC, had a stint there. He's, defeated some legends. He's a legend himself. He's one of the best Japanese fighters of all time, but if you look at his recent run, man, I mean, he's just been losing, getting knocked out, getting finished, not looking good at all against guys that in his prime, man, he would run through them. And he's going to be fighting Koji Tanaka. We don't really know much about him, but I see this as a custom rules fight. It's going to be purely on the feet. It's going to be a striking fight. And I mean, Gomi, I mean, he hasn't fought since he knocked out Melvin Gillard in 2018. But just with this fight, I just feel like if it's going to be two strikers, it's going to be a, experienced kickboxer that's been, fighting actively. I just think he's going to knock out Gomi, man. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't looked into Tanaka at all. Maybe he's a terrible fighter. Maybe he doesn't know how to strike. But, I mean, he went to decision with Tenshin in his last fight. I mean, this is a custom rules fight. It's only striking. I don't even know if they'll have a line for this one. But, yeah, I feel like Tanaka will probably be able to get Gomi out of there, unfortunately, and probably get the win. So, give me Koji Tanaka. And then next year, I really like this fight. We got Ayaka Hamasaki taking on Miyuu Yamamoto. And this is going to be for the vacant atomweight title. And Ayaka Hamasaki, I mean, she's a legend, man. I really wish she got to go in the UFC and do her thing there. But at 38 years old, I mean, I still don't think I don't think she's ever going to be in the UFC at this point. She's an atomweight. I mean, it's unfortunate, but she's 6-1 since moving to Rizin. She's going to be taking on the 46-year-old wrestler Miyuu Yamamoto. Yamamoto isn't your normal 46-year-old, though. She's one of the best Japanese wrestlers of all time. She's won multiple gold medals. She's 5-1 in her last 6 fights. She started her career really bad at 1-3, but she's been able to get the hang of it now. She's been fighting very solid competition as well. Yamamoto is what you expect. On the feet, she's low volume, but pretty powerful when she lands. Doesn't really open up a lot, and really just uses the jab. She's just trying to close the distance or time a takedown off a kick or overextension from her opponent. Really good level changes, man, and a sick double leg. I mean, she sometimes will level change without a good setup and get them denied pretty easily or countered. But Siu Ham, she was able to deny the single of Yamamoto and then pounded her out on top. She just kind of stayed in on the single and let Siu Ham hammer fist her out. But, it showed poor fight IQ for Yamamoto, but Yamamoto's solid, but she get on top. She has an excellent job of just riding her opponents out. She'll pass in dominant positions, throw big ground and pound. I would say her last performance is her best performance she had in terms of doing damage on the mat. She was able to get in dominant positions, really batter Suanan Busorn, who's a pretty good fighter, who has a submission victory over girls like Loma Bunmi. She has a great scrambling ability, good mat returns, Yamamoto does, and when she can get around that neck, she's excellent at using the guillotine to reverse in the top position. Really good front headlock position, very physical, strong, and she proved in her fight with Tanaka Asakura she can grapple with high-level opponents. She was able to rough up Siu Ham and win the first round against Ham, who's probably the #1 atomweight in the world. She landed multiple takedowns, some ground and pound, even landed a nice lead hook that stumbled him a little bit. And she won that first round against him. Was a recent win over Hamasaki. And Miyuu has really improved her submission defense. She still puts herself in some bad positions, but she's gotten better with her composure, slowly working her way out of the submissions. And her cardio is good. I mean, even though she's 46 years old, this chick is still a beast, man. Make no mistake about it. But Ayaka Hamasaki is very good, man. She's still improving. She still is quick, and she has good footwork, good movement. She's aggressive with her boxing. Really good combinations, fast hands, sticks and moves. She's going to need to holster the kick she throws, I feel, of the takedown threat. But she has really nice kicks. If she keeps it on the feet, she's going to dominate. If Miyuu can hit her takedowns, Hamasaki, she has a good submission game. She's hard to hold down. And most likely, Hamasaki will be able to find a finish at some point, whether it's a submission or TKO in the second or third round. I think Yamamoto will come out hot like always, maybe even win the early round by being the stronger, more physical girl. But I think once Hamasaki gets the beat on her level changes, she's going to start to read it, deny the takedowns, really start to piece Yamamoto up, make Yamamoto really panic for the takedowns. And I think if Hamasaki can deny a takedown, sprawl, reverse, get on top, she has a high likelihood of catching a submission or getting a ground and pound finish. So I'm going to go with the Ayaka Hamasaki via second round submission in this fight. But man, shout out to both these girls. I think they're both pretty good fighters, and I wouldn't be shocked if either girl won. Or actually, I would be pretty shocked if Hamasaki lost. But I do think Yamamoto is game. She's a good fighter, and she's going to make it competitive, especially early on. But I think Hamasaki is going to start to pull away and eventually get the finish. So give me Ayaka Hamasaki to get the win. And here we got the second Asakura fight, and the first of the two Asakura brothers on the card, with Mikuru Asakura taking on Satoshi Yamasu. And Asakura, he's looking to bounce back after his loss just a month ago to Yutaki Saito. He's fought well, though. He's 7-1 in his last 8 fights, and his opponent is coming off a loss also in September. He is 11-5, but he's actually 8-1 in his last 9 fights, so he's been on a good run recently. Satoshi Yamasu, that is. Looking at this fight, though, man, I just think Asakura is going to do his thing. I mean, distance control, front knees up the middle, head kicks, 1-2s, crosses. Just, keep the volume high, walk this guy down, make the cage small, make him make a mistake, touch him up, land that knee up the middle, land that cross, land the head kick, and take him out. I mean, I think Yamamoto is going to be trying to hit takedowns, but man, against Asakura's, man, it's really hard to close that distance, to time the takedown, to hit that level change, because they're so good with the distance control, with the uppercuts, with the knees. And I just think he's on another level against Yamasu. Yamasu is a decent striker, but I think on the feet he's at a big disadvantage. And I got to go with Asakura in this one. I think he's going to get it done by knockout. So give me Mikuru Asakura, probably first round KO. And finally, we got the main event here, and man, this fight is fucking sick. It's a rematch with, my boy Kai Asakura. He's going to take on Kyoji Horiguchi. And man, I mean, if you don't know about Kai Asakura, you better learn, man. You better go watch some of his fights. This dude's a bad motherfucker, dude. One of the best strikers at 135 of anybody in MMA. I mean, this guy is a legit striker, and he's going to be fighting Kyoji Horiguchi. He's coming off a pretty long layoff. Horiguchi actually hasn't fought in almost a year and a half. He hasn't fought since he got knocked out by Kai Asakura in the first round. And if you watch that fight, I mean, man, Asakura looked good, man. He was teeing off on him with that uppercut. He was landing that cross whenever he tried to get inside. He was intercepting him with that front knee. And just really pieced up Horiguchi. And I just feel like this is a bad style matchup for a guy like Kyoji Horiguchi, because you have Kai Asakura, who's a hands-down striker, really excellent distance control. He likes to wait for guys to close that distance so he can counter with his crosses down the middle, with his front knees right to the body, to the head, that are just vicious, nasty, super accurate. Really good uppercut, really nice body work with the hooks, really good shot selection, really nice kicks. He just keeps the range so well and just pieces these guys up, beats their ass, and takes them out, man. I mean, one-shot power, super accurate. And Horiguchi's a guy that's an elite-level striker as well, but he's at a big size disadvantage in terms of height and reach, and he is really fast. I mean, Horiguchi's one of the fastest guys in MMA. The way he can close that gap is hand speed, and that's what he really relies on, that in-and-out movement and his ability to close that gap, touch you, and he has one-punch knockout power with his hooks. I mean, we've seen him knock guys out with the left hook. We've seen him knock guys out with the right hook. And, man, I mean, if he touches you on the chin, he could take you out, and he's proven that, he can compete with high-level strikers like Tenshin Nasukawa. He was able to, close that gap, touch him up a little bit, and, get inside where he had success. And that's what he's going to need to do with Asakura. He's going to have to punch with Asakura when Asakura punches, close that gap, make the fight ugly. It can't be a pretty striking fight. And he needs to stop with the Superman punches. Really, he has to dart in very effectively if he's going to do that, because that dart in, dart out style against a counter striker that's excellent distance control like Asakura and has a length and height advantage on you, that's always going to be a difficult style to beat. And I feel like Horiguchi's going to need to try to maybe mix in some level changes, work the takedowns, and even if he can't take him down, because Asakura has some really good takedown defense, he could maybe open up some of his striking by freezing him with the takedowns, making him, stop his feet potentially or something. But I just feel like this fight really favors Asakura. I mean, if you watch the first fight, Asakura took him out in the first round brutally, knocked him out. Really nasty combination, uppercut, cross that knocked him out. And I just feel like he's going to do that again. I don't know if it's going to be the first round, the second round. I think maybe Horiguchi will come out a little bit more tentative in this fight, not as wild, trying to close that distance, close the gap, because he knows that Asakura can counter him and touch him up. And so I feel like Kai Asakura is going to go in here and get another knockout in this fight, but I could see Horiguchi kind of playing it a little bit of a tentative game and it going into the second and the third round. But I just feel like with Horiguchi's style, Asakura is tailor-made to beat that style. He's going to be able to catch him as he's trying to dart in, touch him up, use that range. Eventually, once he starts to get his rhythm, I think he's going to start to be able to potentially walk down Horiguchi, really put some combinations on him and take him out. And I think Asakura is going to take him out in dominant fashion again. I think he's going to, keep that belt for the bantamweight title. And, man, I feel like Horiguchi is going to maybe go back down to flyweight, do his thing. I still feel like Horiguchi is one of the best fighters in the world as well, but Asakura, I just think he's on another level on the feet. He's one of the best strikers for that division in the world, and I got to go with Asakura on this one. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. That was the full breakdown. I didn't go through every single fight, like it's right here, Sakura Mori versus Uru Takibayashi. I didn't look into it. One girl 0-0. Didn't look into these kickboxing bouts either. A lot of them, like Nari Nadaka taking on this Muay Thai guy. And then also as well, we have Tenshin Nasukawa. He's going to be taking on another guy from Thailand as well. So those should be really fun kickboxing bouts. The card is pretty cool overall. I really would recommend you guys check it out. I mean, it says former Olympic silver medalist, former UFC fighters, as the Asakuras on there. Kushi Minowa taking on another sumo wrestler. It has a really good guy from KSW. It has Yuki Motoya versus Naoki Inoue, a high-level fight. It has a couple title fights. Takanori Gomi. Tenshin Nasukawa is on the card. So the main event, I mean, they got a lot. They got a lot on this card. So it's a fun card. It's fun to sometimes try to push these organizations that don't really get a lot of fanfare. So hopefully this video gets some views, and I don't get like 300 views or something on this video. So yeah, guys, click on the video, let's watch it, and hopefully we can make some money. I'm going to come back and later on check out the video again, because I'm going to put in the description, after I put the odds, I'll put on every single bet that I put. I'll do it for free for this one. And I'll also give you guys the parlay of the week, the most confident pick, the underdog of the week if I have one, everything that I usually do. And I'm just gonna lay out an idea for you guys. What do you guys think if I created a Patreon and started to give you guys, these type of breakdowns on these type of cards, maybe even potentially all the Bellator cards, LFA cards, gave you guys my notes that I do, all my bets. Would you guys be interested in something like that? Put down in the comments if you would be interested in something like that, because potentially I'll create that, and you guys could we can create a new community over there as well, and just continue to push, do similar things. And I could do other things on there as well, like show video and kind of do breakdowns that way, and do some different things, and maybe even do some custom videos for people that ask. So yeah, man, tell me what you guys think about that. You guys think I should start that up? Would you guys be interested in having the betting, all my bets readily available, all the notes that I write? Maybe I could, make the video a day earlier on there, and then also put all these type of breakdowns on there as well for these promotions other than the UFC. So let me know what you think about that idea, and thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you thought about the breakdowns for this video, and if you like the format, everything like that. So thanks for watching, guys, and talk to you guys in the next year. And hopefully everyone's been having a great New Year's, or has a great New Year's. Everyone had a great holiday season, great Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, Kwanzaa, anything, man. So yeah, man, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.